So we are continuing on how to become a sales superstar. And this is part 7 of this whole session of 21 keys to becoming a sales superstar by Brian Tracy. Today, we will look at key number 10, which is consultative selling, key number 11, which is educational selling, and key number 12, where we will talk about what is mega credibility. So let's start with key number 10, which is consultative selling. Now, consultative selling is something that we have discussed multiple times in the past also, in various contexts, multiple times. We will reiterate it now. The basic premise is that as in consultative selling, you're positioning yourself as a consultant. See, we've been saying again and again and again that position yourself as a consultant. Don't approach the whole thing as a salesperson. Look at it in a way that you are going to be helping them. Look at yourself as an expert. Look at yourself as an advisor from your customer's point of view. Look at yourself as a helper and a teacher to your customers. The what shall I say? The all-comprehending perspective is: can you become a problem solver for your customer? So if you are approaching it that you are trying to solve your customer's problem, you automatically become a consultant. So try and approach it as trying to solve their problem, not trying to sell a product. Okay. So as a consultant, what you do is you ask good questions. See, the more questions you ask and the more nuanced questions you ask, you will actually get to know what are the pain points that the person is going through, whether it is from a health point of view or whether it is from a financial point of view, and you will be able to provide the right kind of answers which are tuned to that person's requirements. So ask good questions and listen carefully to the answers. Now, in case you're selling this to a business, now the context of, in our case, where it will be that we are selling it to a business, I happen to have had an opportunity. I have shared it with some of you that one of the distributors on on my left arm, he his mother is a doctor, so they have a small hospital, and through the hospital they are trying to sell the product. So what I am trying to do is, how is it that I can help them increase their overall business? That's what I'm trying to say. So what does it mean, or how do you be when you are trying to sell to a business? How do you position yourself from a consultative selling point of view? You position yourself as a financial improvement specialist. In other words, you are trying to see how their finance can be improved. Okay. You show the customer how their business is better off as a result of using our product. You think of ways and means and make this visible to that customer. Point out how they can achieve their goals simply because of following your advice. Okay. In other words, this is a beautiful way to look at it. You choose to become an unpaid member of the customer staff. It is as if you are a part of the customer staff, but you are an unpaid member. You become like that. That means how an employee of, as an employee, how does one work for the organization? Like that, you work for his organization, helping him improve his business, him or her, improve his or her business by becoming an unpaid member of the customer staff. And when you do that, the customer will, the kind of value they will get is something at a completely different level. And I must say that I have actually experienced this, that I have been able to actually touch these people in a way that have effectively, managed to maximize the per product, income that they get. They are actually, in a month, they are now retailing 24 products. That is where they have reached now. So, and per product, I'm trying to maximize it for them. Right. So now the basic question you have to ask yourself is this: are you being a consultant or are you being a salesperson? What you have to remember is, first step is give value. Second step, give value. Third step, give value. And only after that you ask for a business. So if you give much more than what you're asking, the ease with which somebody will return the favor is at a different level. Now, in this context, no, I want to make a quick mention. I will do a separate complete session. There is a couple of books that I have come across, audio books, of course, which is written by a psychologist. Okay. And there have been extensive studies on various aspects of psychology related to selling. And not just selling, it is just what he calls influence. How can various actions influence another person to do what you want them to do? Okay, it's quite a, I mean, amazing eye-opening stuff is there. Really amazing eye-opening stuff. So one of the things is this thing called reciprocation. What it says is that it is so ingrained in all of us. Please remember what I'm saying very carefully. The tendency to reciprocate is so deeply ingrained in each one of us, irrespective of which culture, I'm saying globally, which culture we belong to, that if there is somebody who gives us something, our natural tendency is to reciprocate it for majority of the people. And therefore, this particular way of doing it, of being a consultant where you give value, and then you ask for business, will work like magic. Please remember, this is a very well-tested and proven psychological aspect, something called reciprocation. Okay, so the next key to key performance selling is educational selling. Now, this thing will be particularly relevant to, some of you have mentioned at different times that, you find it like you're hesitating to go and, follow up and, that whole thing that, oh, I am selling is kind of overwhelming in your head, which is why I'm trying to give you multiple perspectives to look at this whole aspect of selling. Like last week, we looked at the whole thing that we are actually doing this selling in our life in many areas in our life, and we don't even know that we are doing it. But some of those areas we have no issue about doing it, but some areas we have an issue about it. So if you can see that you are doing it consciously and unconsciously, you can actually choose to do it consciously. Similarly, here is a certain slightly different aspect where we are calling what we are calling educational selling, where you take a low pressure, no pressure approach. What does that mean? You do not try to influence or persuade the customer in any way. You are not trying to push them saying, buy, do this, do that, nothing. What is it that you're doing? You ask good questions, okay? And lean forward. See this whole, again, there is this whole thing about aspect about psychology of leaning forward. If you notice, whenever there is something that is you find is of interest, just observe it in yourself the next time. Whenever you find something that is of really of interest, you will lean forward to listen better. Okay, the natural tendency is to lean forward. So in other words, this whole posture of leaning forward is perceived by the other person as an expression of interest. Okay, so ask good questions and lean forward and listen closely to the answer. The process of leaning forward, the other person really feels that what he's or she is wanting to say, you are really wanting to listen. And that's the way you have to be. That you should be willing to listen closely without having all the mind running on prejudice and this and that. Just listen. So lean forward and listen closely to the answers and take notes. In other words, you are positioning yourself as a teacher and a helper. This is a slight variant of the consultative selling. Even in consultative selling, we are focusing on how to help the other person. Here, you're going one step further. You're taking the effort to teach that other person what the other person needs to know. Okay. So you're positioning yourself as a teacher and a helper here with a low pressure, no pressure approach and not as a salesperson. And by asking questions, you will learn how your customer will be better off by using your product. See, you will get an understanding of how the customer's mindset is, what are the things they are thinking of, what are the constraints they have, or what are their perceived constraints, everything you will get to know. In other words, how your customer will be better off by using your products, you will know. Okay. And therefore, your action plan during the sales will be to teach the customer how he or she will benefit the most in their life and work by using the products that we are positioning. So in other words, once you know, uh, what is it that is really going to benefit the customer, then you will teach them how best our products will be able to support them in whatever they want to do, whatever they are trying to achieve in their life, whether it is health, whether it is finance, whatever it is, whatever they are trying to achieve in their life, how our products can help them. So this is a slightly different variant of the consultative selling. The more you teach your customer how to get the very best, see, you're trying to give maximum value to the customer through educating them. So the more you teach your customer how to get the very best out of what you sell, the more will they like you, number one. Second, the more will they trust you, and the more will they want to do the business with you. You please look back at so many things that you may have purchased at different points in your life, whether it is insurance, whatever it is. Think of the things that you have purchased the most easily and think of the person who sold it to you. There is a very, very high chance that you have bought it because you liked that person who was selling it to you. Okay. So that process, if we can initiate in the other person will automatically like you. They will trust you and they will want to do business with you. Right. And not just once, they will want to do it again and again with you. That is the magic that you are trying to create, and that is possible with educational selling. Actually, there was one quote which I wanted to show you, which I think I have missed out. Okay. The 12th key to peak performance selling is what we are calling mega credibility. What is mega credibility? So, see, we are defining mega credibility as credibility which is far above and beyond just an appeal to quality and service. It's well beyond. You're saying that, see, I have a fantastic product, okay, or I have a fantastic service to offer. Why don't you try it out? It is well beyond that. It's a credibility that you are establishing well beyond that, and it has to be something far beyond anything that your competitor may be offering. How do you achieve these things? So remember this, that for getting an appointment with the customer, just to get a conversation with the customer, you need credibility. The very least you need is basic credibility to get an appointment with the customer. But it takes mega credibility if you want to get the sale. Remember this. So we are going to look at what does it take to get mega credibility. Observe this carefully. There are 5 keys to building mega credibility. Key number 1 is yourself. As the salesperson, yourself. You are that one of the keys to mega credibility. What is it about you? You can make or break the sale simply by your appearance and your personality. See, this may, many of us tend to be very dismissive about some of these things. But when we are actually approaching it, when we are professionally approaching it as a sales exercise, when we are trying to, position something to somebody, your appearance and way you're presenting yourself is of very, very great importance. There are 3 parts to this. One is the way you dress. Second is the way you are groomed. And third is what are the accessories that you're carrying with you. Please note this very carefully, and before the end of this presentation, you will know that none of these things can be just dismissed, and you will understand why you cannot dismiss any of these things that we are talking about. Note this very carefully. So, dress. Top salespersons dress for success. In fact, there is a lot that has been said on how to dress professionally, how to dress for success. Okay, but the basic thing is very basic things, that your clothes should be clean, they should look neat, they're well pressed. When somebody looks at you, they feel wow, like, yeah, very nice, you're so elegant, you look elegant, right? So top salespeople dress for success. You should look like the kind of person that the customer will be comfortable taking advice from. See, when they look at you, they should feel that, wow, okay, this person I can take advice from. That first, first look feeling should come. And they should be, the kind of look that you have should make them feel comfortable giving money to. See, they are going to part with their money. They should feel comfortable giving the money to you. So you should be that kind of a person in your dress. Remember that 95% of the first impression will be made by your clothes. Just by looking at you head to toe, the impression that they make is 95% of the impression. Why? Because our clothes cover 95% of our body. Okay. So what they are seeing, that entire dress that they are seeing is what they think about you. That is the first impression. And remember, do not leave anything to chance. We will revisit this last sentence before we close today. Next is grooming. Looking smart and trim, so important. Having, well combed hair, I'm not saying that, in the case of women, you put a lot of makeup and all that. No, but looking really smart and looking trim. In the case of males, like a good haircut, well groomed, it's very, very important because it makes a huge difference. And maintaining a fit body is of utmost importance, particularly in our space. Okay, when somebody looks at you, you are selling health and wellness products, and if we ourselves are, sloppy and obese, and we are in a certain way, right? We are ourselves unhealthy. Then what is the credibility that we will carry to somebody saying that no, this is something that is fantastic and you should use it, right? So maintaining ourselves fit, physically being fit is very, very, very important, a part of our grooming. And accessories. When we say accessories, what do we mean? Very basic things like having a pen, and people go to the extent of saying what kind of a pen to carry, like, have a pen that is of a certain class, not like a cheap pen, right? Having a notepad, like if you have to explain something to them, you should have a notepad ready. Immediately, you should be able to open the notepad and write out notes or draw a diagram and all that. In our business, when we are explaining the business or the products, we have something called a flip chart. Of course, we have a soft copy of the flip chart when many of the things we are doing online, and soft copy of the flyers. But when you are meeting somebody in person, it's very, very important that you have the physical flip chart and the printed flyers. If any of you need English or Tamil flyers, please message me independently after the presentation. You can send me a WhatsApp message and we will arrange for the flyers to reach you. There is a small cost to it. We will arrange for it to reach you. But the important thing is you should have this flip chart and flyers ready with you when you are meeting the customer, right? And you should have some samples which you can give away. See, many times we have seen, again, this sample thing is a very, very powerful mechanism of this reciprocity. You remember I spoke a short while ago about the tendency to reciprocate. When you give a free sample, and this has been well documented in retail shops, wherever there is a free sample given away, the chances that the customer buys goes up significantly. Okay, this is a very, very well-tested psychological mechanism, and people have used it in very remarkable ways. I'll tell you separately in a separate story about all this. But remember that if we have, for example, we have an iCoffee sachet, which we can give as a sample, or if the person is visiting our home, then make a small amount of iCoffee, let them taste it, or give them a small amount of iPulse to taste. The sampling is a very, very, very time-tested mechanism for building trust and comfort in the product. Okay, so have samples ready to give away if and when the opportunity rises. The second key is the reputation of the company. First thing is ourselves, as we said, and that we said is linked to dress, our grooming, and the accessories that we carry. The next part is the company itself. Remember, see, Brian Tracy is talking about general sales, and he's saying general sales, not network marketing. 85% of the sales today is by word of mouth, is the statement that he's making. In our case, almost 100% of the sales is by word of mouth. Only now there is a bit of this whole digital thing happening, but it is so fringe. Largely, it is unless they have heard it from somebody they can trust, it's very difficult for somebody to take a step. So 85% of the sales is word of mouth, and therefore some of the aspects that we have to look at from a company credibility. How long has the company been in business? All this information you should have at the tip of your fingers or the tip of your tongue. See, our Indusviva has been, the company was set up, the parent company was set up in 2006, which is Bioactives Japan Corporation. And the Indusviva, the Indian company, was set up in 2014. So since then, it's been in business. How big is the company? What is the scale of the business? So last year or last financial year or the financial year before that, the volume of sales was something like 250 crores or so. This is an approximate number I'm giving. So how big is the company? There are other aspects about our company which you need to know. All our products are manufactured in-house. Nothing is an outsourced product. That means manufacturing is also not outsourced. Third thing about the company, it is a zero debt company. There are no debts the company is having. The next level, now, of course, the company, one step it has taken by opening up an office in USA and releasing a product in USA. The next step the company is going to take, which will hopefully happen within 1 year, is that it is going public. It is going to release an IPO. That means there will be shares. It will get traded, shares will get traded in the stock exchange. That's the next level. And in course of time, it is going global into multiple countries. Next, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and then probably Southeast Asia, then Middle East, and so on. So these are aspects that you need to know. Okay, how is it thought about or talked about in the marketplace? The company is taking a lot of effort. There have been some challenging situations that we have gone through in the last 1 year. The company is taking a huge amount of effort to ensure that the image is cleaned up. Okay, there's a lot of effort that's going on from the company's side. So all these aspects, all the various information related to the company should be there with you. The bigger and the more positive there is a reputation, the easier it is for the customer to accept our recommendation. So this is as far as the company is concerned. The next key is testimonials. How much ever I tell you about testimonials will not be enough. Remember that this is so powerful and such a fundamental key. Mega credibility can be very easily established in a conversation through a happy customer's video or a photo or even a letter from a happy customer. Today, of course, that generation of that letter and all that is gone. Today, the normal thing that we go for is a video. Even a photograph is a, before and after kind of photograph is a fantastic thing to collate. Which is why I am strongly encouraging each one of you to create videos. If you need support in creating the videos, please do let me know. We can discuss it. Videos about your own usage and your experience, people whom you have given it to, their experience. We have created some videos in our own, Way to Wellness website. There are some videos. If you have customers whose videos you want to take, please do let me know. Even having a list of happy customers can be, this is like very, very basic. Okay, I would say that we should go for having videos of our customers. Often people will not buy a product unless they know who else has bought it and are happy with that choice. This thing about, see, it is like, people love to hear stories. Telling a lot of technical information is only at one level. It will bring them to, like, intellectually, it will bring them to a point that, yes, okay, there seems to be merit in this. But at the end of the day, a sale is an emotional decision. And that emotional flip happens when there is something that touches them, and that what touches them is a story. So this testimonial is a powerful story that we are having. It was like this. This is what this person was going through. This is what they used, and this is the result. Just simple story like this. If you are able to verbally tell it, good. If you have a video, fantastic, right? The important thing is you should volunteer testimonial information, not that the customer should ask for it. Customers may never even think of it or ask for it, but you should volunteer testimonial information. Clearly, you should volunteer it in the sales conversation. That means as you are completing your presentation, you should tell them that, there are products that this person used this product. This is the problem they had. This is how they used it, and this was the result. And building testimonials is an asset in our business. Remember, this power of this testimonial is building mega credibility, and therefore building testimonials. That means creating more and more testimonials through yourself and your contacts is an asset in our business. This, we talk about building assets, right? So in our business, one of the key assets we are building is this testimonials. Remember this, please. So where are the sources for testimonials? One is our own experience, our own testimonial. Second is testimonials of those whom we know. Third is testimonials of others in our own team. For example, there are so many videos that I have created, or one of you have created, which others can use. And beyond that, there are tons of testimonials which are there online on YouTube. Please go through them and please utilize them. Only important thing is ensure that the audio quality is good, because when somebody is listening to it, if the audio is bad, it really puts people off. So try and ensure that the audio quality is good when whatever video you're sharing. Right. Next, key number 4 is presentation. A well thought out, completely professional, customer focused presentation makes a heaven and earth difference. We already have a very powerful presentation. Please learn to utilize it. If you need to get trained in presenting, please contact me. We will run a training process for you. This presentation will add, not only will it add value to the product. See, one thing is when you're talking over phone or when you're just explaining verbally. Another is when you're physically showing them. For example, even the flip chart, you show that presentation in a flip chart. The result is a very big difference, very big difference. That is why I'm saying that use that flip chart, use these presentations. What Brian Tracy says is that it can potentially increase even the price that you can charge for the product if you have a very powerful presentation. A good presentation builds a very high level of credibility, basically because it overcomes the fears and misgivings that may hold back a customer. That's the way it works. Next, of course, the product itself. That is another thing that builds credibility. In our case, there is nothing to be said. Our products are so fantastic that there is, it's already holding a big mega credibility. Incidentally, some of you may not know, our iPulse is one of the very, very, very high selling volume products. They are calling it something they call a super brand. There is some criteria for labeling something a super brand, and iPulse is one of them. Okay, so the presentation should clearly demonstrate to that the customer is much better off with our product rather than an alternative product, or not using the product at all and spending the money somewhere else. Okay, for example, typically what people tend to do is they will prefer to keep on spending on allopathic medicine and hospital and all that. We should be able to communicate to them clearly that using our product will give them a very big advantage. The sale is made in that presentation. When that presentation is pakka, a sale will get made. The sale will happen. Okay, now we have finished the 5 keys, but here is the most important aspect. Please note this very, very, very carefully. Please don't miss this. The most important aspect is this. Everything counts. That means we have talked about 5 different things. Don't think that, oh, okay, dressing does not matter. I will only focus on the presentation. No. Remember, everything counts. Everything you do in a sales situation will either help or it will hurt. There is nothing in between. Remember this. It is no, it is black or white. It is not gray. It will either help or hurt. It will either move you towards the sale or move you away from the sale. Every single thing that you do. Therefore, it is very important that we are conscious about what is it that you're doing at every step. So don't take a conversation that you're having with the customer casually. Please ensure that you're well prepared and you're doing it right. It either increases your credibility or it will decrease it. There is nothing in between. Remember, nothing is neutral. It is not a neutral thing that will happen. It will either make it or break it. There's nothing in between, and therefore remember, everything counts. And top salespeople know that everything counts, and therefore they also know that nothing is neutral, and they will leave nothing to chance. They will say, okay, let me take a chance on this. No, they will not leave it to chance. Whatever they can do about it, they will do it. Right? And I'm saying, neither should you leave anything to chance. Please remember that everything counts. Every single thing we have said today, it counts. And therefore, whatever conversation you have, ensure that you are doing it pakka. You have taken all the things, you are focused about it, you are giving the right information, you are sharing testimonial, whatever it is. Ensure you're doing every bit of it. Everything counts. So here is something that has been said. Trust is built on credibility, and credibility comes from acting in the other person's interest before your own interest. Okay. Again, this whole thing is going back to this whole thing of being a consultant, of ensuring that you are trying to help that other person rather than sell something to the other person. Repeating, trust is built on credibility, and credibility comes from acting in the other person's interest, even before your own interest. Who has said this? This person named Stephen Denny. He is the author of this book called Killing Giants. And you know, the subline of the book is this: 10 strategies to topple the Goliath in your industry. That's the, tagline of this book. So I have not come across this book yet, but now this tagline itself is making it interesting enough for me to check it out. So remember, mega credibility. So that's the end of today's session. There is much more to come. We have finished only 12 and there are totally 21. So there are more coming up. Thank you very much.